Hello everyone, and welcome back. We are still here in the heart of London, walking through the city of London, where beautiful old buildings stand next to modern glass towers. Honestly, what could be better? A London walk, amazing architecture, and useful English.
Exactly. And today we are talking about a problem that almost every English learner knows.
You understand the question, you know the words, you even know the answer. But when it is your turn to speak, your brain suddenly freezes.
Oh yes, the famous English freeze. Your face says, I understand everything, but your mouth says absolutely nothing.
Exactly. And while we're walking through London, let me tell you what happens inside my head. First, I hear the English question, then I translate it into my native language, then I think of my answer there, and finally translate it back into English.
4 steps?
4 steps. And after that, my grammar department checks the tense, my vocabulary department loses one important word, and my panic department takes control of the whole company.
Slava, by the time your company finishes the meeting, the other person has already gone home.
Sometimes they have changed jobs.
Sometimes they have changed jobs.
But this is a real problem. And the important thing is this. It does not always mean your English is weak. Many learners already know enough English to have a conversation. So the problem is not always knowledge.
Exactly. Very often the problem is access. You know the English, but your brain is still using the old translation route.
Translation route?
Imagine 2 roads in your brain. One is long. English comes in, then your native language, then your answer, then English again. The second road is shorter. English comes in, and English comes out.
Ah, understand and respond.
Exactly. And today, we want to help you build that shorter road with 50 ready-made English chunks.
Can we build it before lunch?
Not completely, but we can start today.
So, what exactly is a chunk?
A chunk is a group of words that your brain learns as one complete unit. You do not build it word by word every time.
Give me an example.
Let me think.
That's simple.
Yes, imagine I suddenly ask you this. If you could live anywhere in the world for 1 year, where would you live? Slava?
One moment. My translation company has received your request.
No translation company. Just say, let me think.
Let me think. I would probably choose Italy.
Italy? Why?
Beautiful cities, good weather, great coffee, amazing food.
You chose a country because of lunch.
Food is an important cultural factor.
Fair enough.
But that phrase helped. I was still thinking, but I didn't disappear into silence.
Exactly. Chunk 1. Let me think. It keeps you inside the conversation.
Give me another one.
Are you free this Saturday?
Give me a second. Let me check.
Excellent. Chunk 2. Give me a second.
But what if I need 20 seconds?
Nobody is timing you.
Excellent. Much less pressure.
Chunk 3 is, that's a good question. Ask me something difficult.
What is one thing you would change about your daily life?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably sleep more.
Your alarm clock has been waiting to hear that. And if the question is something you have never considered, use chunk 4. I've never really thought about that.
Give me an example.
Would you ever live on a boat?
Oh, I've never really thought about that. See? No panic.
I'm still worried about the bathroom situation. What if I know the idea, but I can't find the right words?
Then chunk 5 is perfect. How should I put this?
Victoria, how would you describe my cooking?
How should I put this?
That pause was already an answer.
All right, give me number 6. Let me see. For example, are there any trains after 10?
Let me see. Yes, there is one at 10:30.
Number 7, where do I start? Use it when the answer is long or complicated.
How was our journey yesterday?
Where do I start? The train was late, the weather was terrible, and somebody forgot the umbrella.
We agreed never to identify that person.
Of course.
And number 8?
It's hard to say.
London or Cambridge, which is better?
It's hard to say. London is exciting, but Cambridge is calmer.
Impressed. 8 chunks and none of them actually gives me the answer.
Exactly. They give you something just as important. Time. But sometimes time is not the problem. Sometimes you genuinely don't know what you think yet. And that's where our next group begins.
So, now I have enough time to think. Wonderful. But what happens when my answer is not yes, not no, but somewhere in the middle?
Welcome to real life. Most interesting questions do not have a simple yes or no answer.
And that is when I start trying to create one beautiful, perfect, intelligent sentence.
And how does that normally go?
Badly.
Then let's make it easier. Chunk 9. It depends.
Ah, one of my favorites.
Is working from home better than working in an office?
It depends. Some people are more productive at home, but other people need the social side of an office.
Perfect. You started speaking immediately.
And then the rest of the idea came naturally.
Exactly. That is what we want. Do not wait for the whole paragraph. Start the engine.
English engine?
Yes, and please do not translate the instruction manual first. Chunk 10. I'm not sure yet.
Are we going on holiday next month?
I'm not sure yet. We are still deciding.
So I should not pack?
You can pack, just don't ask me where we are going.
That sounds dangerous.
Number 11, as far as I know.
What exactly does that mean?
It means based on the information I have. For example, as far as I know, the museum closes at 5.
So I'm giving information without pretending I know absolutely everything.
Exactly.
Excellent. This phrase protects my reputation. What about something very short?
Chunk 12, I think so.
Is this the right platform?
I think so.
And the opposite?
Chunk 13, I don't think so.
Does this train stop at Cambridge?
I don't think so. I think this one goes directly to London.
You said think twice.
Yes, because sometimes uncertainty is natural. You do not need to sound like a lawyer giving evidence in court.
According to the information currently available to me.
Stop. Just say, I don't think so.
Much easier.
Chunk 14 is only one word. Probably.
One word can be a chunk?
Of course. Thinking in English does not mean speaking in long sentences.
Will it rain tomorrow?
We're in Britain. Probably.
Fair answer.
Chunk 15 is, I suppose so.
Is that the same as I think so?
Similar, but sometimes it sounds a little less enthusiastic or more hesitant.
Should we walk another 5 kilometers today?
I suppose so.
You don't sound excited.
Because when you say 5 kilometers, we somehow walk 12.
That's because London is bigger than expected.
Of course.
And chunk 16.
I haven't decided yet.
Tea or coffee?
I haven't decided yet.
Victoria, we're in Britain. There are limits. There's something interesting about all these phrases. They remove pressure.
Exactly. One major reason learners translate is because they believe they need a complete and perfect answer before they open their mouth.
But real speakers don't always know exactly what they're going to say.
Right. We start speaking, and sometimes the thought develops while we speak.
So this is also a kind of training for my brain.
Yes. And here's a powerful little exercise. During your day, catch one simple thought and express it in 2 or 3 different ways.
Give me an example.
You look outside and think, it's cold.
Easy?
Now say, it's really chilly today, or I need a warmer coat, or I wasn't expecting it to be this cold.
Ah, same situation, different English roots.
Exactly. You are teaching your brain that one idea does not have one perfect translation.
And that sounds useful because sometimes I know an idea, but one word is missing.
Perfect. That is our next problem. How do you keep speaking when you can't find the exact word or exact sentence? Let's learn how to explain the meaning instead of chasing the perfect translation.
This is probably one of my biggest problems. I know exactly what I mean, but I want one specific English word.
And if that word does not appear?
Conversation over.
No, that is exactly what we need to change.
So, what should I do?
Think about meaning, not translation. If one road is blocked, take another road.
We are back to roads again.
You like traveling. I am using examples you understand.
Fair enough.
Chunk 17. The thing is.
When do I use that?
When you want to introduce the main problem or reason. For example, why don't you drive into central London?
The thing is, parking is incredibly expensive.
Perfect.
That phrase feels easy. It starts the explanation for me.
Exactly. Chunk 18. What I mean is.
So I use this when my first sentence was not clear.
Yes. Say something.
I hate offices.
You hate every office in the world?
No. What I mean is, I do not like very noisy open-plan offices.
Much clearer.
And I did not need to panic and start again from zero.
Exactly. Chunk 19. In other words.
In other words, my personal financial situation is currently experiencing a period of significant difficulty.
What?
In other words, I'm broke.
Why did you need 20 words for that?
I wanted to sound advanced.
Advanced English should make communication clearer, not require a lawyer.
Point taken.
Chunk 20. Basically.
That means I'm giving the simple version.
Exactly.
Basically, we missed the train because I spent 10 minutes looking for coffee.
That example sounds extremely realistic.
Purely educational. What comes next?
Chunk 21. The main point.
The main point is, you do not need perfect English to communicate successfully.
Exactly.
But what happens if I completely forget a word?
Then chunks 22 and 23 are lifesavers. First, it's like.
Okay, I forgot the word umbrella.
Describe it.
It's like a small roof that you carry over your head when it rains.
A portable roof.
But you understood me.
Exactly. Communication wins.
And number 23 is...
It's a kind of.
So, if I forget tram, I can say, it's a kind of public transport that runs on tracks in the street.
Perfect. You stayed in English.
That is important. I did not go back into my native language to search for the translation.
Exactly. You used the English you already had.
Number 24?
For example,
That one seems almost too easy.
easy phrases are often the most useful. If your idea feels difficult, give an example.
Some people get distracted when they work from home. For example, they may visit the fridge every 20 minutes.
Some people?
We protect the identity of all participants in this educational program. And chunk 25?
Let me put it another way.
Oh, I like that.
Imagine I don't understand your explanation. Do not repeat the same sentence louder.
The train is...
No.
Sorry.
Say, let me put it another way and simplify your message.
So, the real skill is not finding one perfect sentence.
Exactly. The skill is being flexible enough to express the same meaning in another way.
That reminds me of the exercise from earlier. One idea, several English roots.
Yes, try it during ordinary activities. When you make coffee, don't only think, I'm making coffee. Try, I need some coffee. I'm making myself a drink. This coffee smells great.
Or, why have I already had 3 coffees?
Some people may find that especially useful. This kind of mental practice trains your brain to express meaning directly in English.
But conversation is not only explaining ideas.
Exactly.
Sometimes somebody tells me something and I just need to react.
And this is where some English learners suddenly become emotional robots. Let's fix that next.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Slava?
Yes. Very interesting. Yes.
Is this your demonstration of an emotional robot?
Exactly. Somebody tells me an amazing story, and because I am busy translating, all I can produce is yes.
That is painful.
So I need automatic reactions.
Exactly. And emotions are actually a great way to build direct English connections. If something surprises you, annoys you, or makes you happy, try to let the English reaction appear immediately.
Okay, test me.
Yesterday, I met a famous actor.
Really?
Perfect. Chunk 26, really.
Simple.
And natural. Now, I won £10 million yesterday.
No way!
Chunk 27, no way.
Wait, did you actually win £10 million?
No,
I reacted too early.
but you reacted in English.
Fair point.
Now, imagine I say, I work from home because my commute takes 2 hours.
That makes sense.
Excellent. Chunk 28, that makes sense.
So I am saying I understand the logic.
Exactly. Number 29, that's a good point.
Working in an office can be useful for new employees because they learn from other people.
That's a good point.
Very useful for discussions.
Especially because you can acknowledge somebody's idea before giving your own.
Chunk 30?
Bright? Exactly.
Learning complete chunks is faster than building every reaction word by word.
Exactly.
Wow, that was fast.
Because I did not translate it.
Good example.
Chunk 31, I know what you mean.
Sometimes I understand every word in English, but I still cannot answer quickly.
I know what you mean. That happens to many learners.
So it shows connection.
Exactly. Number 32, fair enough.
We used that earlier. What does it really mean?
It means something like, I understand your reason and I accept it, even if you might not completely agree.
I do not want coffee. It is already 10 at night.
Fair enough.
I did not coffee. It is already 10 at night.
Fair enough.
I did not coffee. That sounded very enthusiastic.
Because I want you to sleep.
Number 33.
I see your point.
London is expensive, but there are also more job opportunities.
I see your point.
And if you don't agree?
Chunk 34, I'm not convinced.
5 hours of sleep is enough for a healthy adult.
I'm not convinced.
But,
I'm still not convinced.
all right.
Notice how short these reactions are. Really? No way. Exactly. Fair enough. That makes sense.
But they make me sound much more present in the conversation.
Yes, and while you're reacting, your brain also gets a little time to prepare what comes next.
Ah, so reactions are another kind of bridge.
Exactly.
And I suppose I can practice these even when I'm alone.
Absolutely. This is where inner monologue becomes powerful. When something surprises you during the day, react in English.
I open my electricity bill.
What is your English reaction?
No way!
I see the price of a sandwich in central London.
Your reaction?
I'm not convinced this sandwich needs to cost that much. Perfect. Use real feelings. Surprise, happiness, frustration, confusion. That helps English become connected to your real life instead of only to a textbook.
But there's one situation where my brain freezes even faster.
Which one?
When I don't understand what the other person has just said.
Ah, yes. Then many learners smile, nod, and hope nobody notices.
I feel personally attacked.
Good. Then our next job is to stop pretending and learn how to stay in the conversation when you do not understand.
I admit it. I have done this before. Somebody says something very quickly in English. I understand maybe 60%.
And what do you do?
Smile,
Then?
nod,
Then?
say yes.
And what if they asked, would you like us to cancel your booking?
Oh no.
Exactly. Pretending to understand can create a much bigger problem than simply asking.
So, what should I say first?
Chunk 35. What do you mean?
Give me an example.
I think that plan is a little risky.
What do you mean?
I mean that we do not have enough time or money to finish it.
Simple. I stayed in English and you explained.
Exactly. Chunk 36. Could you say that again?
Probably one of the most important phrases for learners.
Absolutely. And there's nothing embarrassing about using it.
Native speakers ask each other to repeat things too.
Of course, especially in a noisy cafe, train station, or busy street.
Or when somebody eats while speaking.
Are we discussing someone specific?
Never. What if the problem is speed?
Chunk 37. Could you speak a little more slowly?
Much better than shouting, slow.
Please, never do that.
Chunk 38.
Do you mean?
Ah, so instead of asking for the whole sentence again, I check what I think I heard.
Exactly. You need to send it by Friday.
Do you mean before Friday, or can I send it on Friday?
Perfect.
Number 40.
Number 40. So you're saying?
So you're saying we need to leave home before 6?
Exactly.
6 in the morning?
Yes.
Suddenly I do not understand English anymore. What about when I simply didn't hear one part?
Chunk 40, I didn't catch that.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Very natural.
And if I heard the sentence but one word is new?
Chunk 41, what was that word?
What was that word? Commuter.
A commuter is someone who regularly travels between home and work.
Good. Now I learned the word without leaving the conversation.
Exactly.
And 42.
Chunk 42. How do you say?
How do you say the thing you carry when it rains? The portable roof.
Umbrella. Again, Slava. Umbrella.
I knew that.
Of course you did.
There is something important here. When I ask for clarification in English, I'm still thinking in English.
Exactly. You stay inside the language instead of immediately escaping back to translation.
And I suppose speaking aloud is important too.
Very important. You cannot train your mouth to speak English only by reading silently.
That sounds obvious when you say it like that.
But many learners spend years listening and reading and almost no time producing English.
So what can somebody do if they have nobody to practice with?
Speak to yourself. Describe what you are doing. Record yourself. Or take one short sentence from a podcast and repeat it, copying the rhythm and pronunciation.
Shadowing.
Exactly. Listen, repeat, copy. You are training your mouth and your brain to work together.
I could even record myself talking for 2 minutes.
Yes. Then listen back and choose only 2 or 3 things to improve. Do not attack yourself for every mistake.
So, no 47-page performance review.
Definitely not.
All right, we have 42 chunks, only 8 left.
And these final 8 will help you connect your thoughts so that English starts feeling less like separate translated sentences and more like one natural conversation.
Final 8. I feel like we are approaching graduation.
Please do not order the graduation hat yet.
Too late.
These final chunks help you connect your thoughts naturally.
Because real conversation is not 50 separate, perfect sentences.
Exactly. First, anyway. Use it when you want to return to your main point.
We missed our train, found terrible coffee, walked in the wrong direction. Anyway, we finally arrived.
Perfect. And, by the way, introduces a new topic. By the way, did you remember our train tickets?
Let me think.
Nice use of an earlier chunk.
I am learning.
Next, speaking of, it connects your new idea to something you were already discussing.
Speaking of trains, do you remember our last journey to London?
Unfortunately, yes. Then we have actually.
Do you live in London?
Actually, I live in Cambridge.
Easy. What comes next?
To be honest.
Dangerous phrase.
Why?
Because when somebody says, to be honest, I immediately become nervous.
To be honest, it is a very natural way to give your real opinion.
To be honest, I prefer quieter cities.
Good. Next, at least.
The train was 40 minutes late.
At least we got seats.
Very British optimism.
Very British.
And the good thing is,
The good thing is, your English becomes easier when these phrases start coming automatically.
I like that one.
And finally, what about you?
Maybe the easiest conversation saver in English.
Exactly. You give your answer and return the question. I prefer coffee. What about you?
I prefer tea. I like Cambridge more than London. What about you?
I'm not answering that again.
Fair enough.
And that's all 50 chunks.
Wonderful. I will memorize all 50 tonight.
No.
No?
Choose 5. Use them again and again. Say them aloud. Put them into real situations.
So, while I make breakfast, walk somewhere, or wait for a train, I can practice in English.
Exactly. Think simple thoughts. React in English. Speak to yourself. The goal is not perfection. The goal is faster access to the English you already know.
And little by little, the translation becomes less necessary.
Exactly.
Victoria, speaking of trains, I think we were so busy talking that we did not notice where we are.
Oh, you're right. We're already inside Liverpool State Station.
And it's incredibly busy. There are people everywhere.
Very London. And this is where we catch our train back to Cambridge. Before we go, one quick challenge. You need time to answer. What can you say?
Let me think.
You're not sure?
It depends.
You forgot the exact word?
It's like, or it's a kind of.
You did not understand?
Could you say that again? Excellent. My translation company can finally reduce its working hours.
Happy to help.
Tell us in the comments, which chunk from today do you want to start using immediately?
And come back to this lesson again. This time, pause and answer us out loud.
Victoria, one final question before our train. Have I finally stopped translating in my head?
Let me think.
Very funny.
See? It already works. Now let's find our platform and get back to Cambridge. See you in the next English walk.